welcome to Catherine's tutorial. In this video, we'll learn about Hershey and Chase experiment in genetics. And when we start learning about all these experiments, so it is in search of genetic material, whether what structure was carrying the information from the parent to the offspring. So this experiment was done to identify, so what is genetic material, whether it is DNA or protein. When we start learning about the search of genetic material, So around the year 1928, the experiment was conducted by Griffith using the organism mice along with Streptococcal pneumoniae, that is 2 strains of Streptococcal pneumoniae, to identify the genetic material, whether it is protein or DNA. Followed by Griffith 1944, Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy. They followed Griffith experiment to identify again whether the protein carries the information and DNA carries the information. So all was remained as a question. To confirm which particle or which structure carries genetic information, there was one more experiment conducted in the year 1952 by 2 more individuals. That was in the year 1952, Hershey and Chase. They have conducted an experiment with a T2 bacteriophage in E. coli with the help of radioactive isotope to identify genetic material. We'll just start learning about the Hershey and Chase experiment. So to simplify it, okay, we'll just learn from what are the materials they've taken or what are the required components they've taken here in case of Hershey and Chase experiment. They've taken T2 bacteriophage. T2 bacteriophage. So what is T2 bacteriophage? When a virus infects a bacteria, it enters inside the bacteria, it turns into bacteriophage. These T2 bacteriophage will have their structure and they have genetic material inside. This is the structure of T2 bacteriophage. And one more organism they have taken, that is nothing but E. coli. They made this T2 bacteriophage to infect E. coli. But to differentiate whether it is protein, when you take T2 bacteriophage, you can able to find the protein components or proteins are present on the outer layer. That is the capsid, contains protein, and they want to identify whether protein carries the information or DNA carries the information. So what they have done, they have taken radioactive isotopes. Radioactive isotopes. What are those radioactive isotopes? They are nothing but it is sulfur 35 and phosphorus 32. They have taken these 2 radioactive isotopes for this experiment. Now proteins can able to absorb sulfur because their component is like sulfur, the component of cysteine and methionine, you can able to find their component is sulfur, so that this radioactive isotopes will be absorbed by the protein. And phosphorus, the DNA contains phosphorus, eventually this radioactive phosphorus will be absorbed by the DNA. Okay, so what they have done, they have taken 2 different cultures. One culture was with phosphorus 32, another culture was with sulfur 35. They made the T2 bacteriophages to grow in this medium. So they allow this T2 bacteriophages to grow in this medium with phosphorus 32, and here this medium again T2 bacteriophages were allowed to multiply in sulfur 35 medium. So here in this medium T2 bacteriophage was taken. So it is T2 bacteriophage. They have cultured one group of T2 bacteriophage with phosphorus 32, and here it has been cultured with sulfur 35. So what happens here when a virus, for example, when they mix this labeled bacteriophage. What is the meaning of labeling? They have labeled the protein and DNA of these T2 bacteriophages with the radioactivity, that is nothing but sulfur and phosphorus. So these T2 bacteriophages which are labeled with radioactivity are known as labeled bacteriophages. So what they have done, they mix this labeled bacteriophages with unlabeled E. coli. So E. coli doesn't contain anything. They have taken E. coli without like any kind of radioactivity or nothing. So what they have done, they have just made this T2 bacteriophage to infect the unlabeled E. coli. We'll just see what has happened here. So imagine this is E. coli. So they made this T2 bacteriophage. To infect the E. coli. So when these bacteriophages infects the E. coli organism, this entire organism is not going to get inside the E. coli. So instead what happened, they inject only their genetic materials inside. The genetic material of virus only will be injected by them. The remaining components will be attached here. So we'll just go with one more diagram just to tell you how it is. So only the genetic materials have entered inside. It is not the entire bacteriophage. This is what has happened. But remember one thing, when it cultured this T2 bacteriophage with phosphorus 32, their DNA contains phosphorus radioactivity. I'm just coloring it to just show you this phosphorus 32, and here it is present on the protein coat, that is nothing but sulfur. Sulfur 35 was absorbed by the protein that is present on the coat of this T2 bacteriophage. So what has happened here, when they have been made to infect this E. coli, they have injected genetic material inside the organism when they are simply agitated. So when they agitated these, agitation means a simple shake, okay, because these bacteriophages and E. coli will not be like tightly packed, will not be tightly connected. So when you simply agitate them, you can able to like separate the components of this T2 bacteriophage with the E. coli. So they separated E. coli with the injected genetic material, and this T2 bacteriophage separate. By simple agitation, we can able to separate these two material. Now, this structure was taken, this E. coli, this infected E. coli was taken for centrifugation process. They have taken this E. coli for centrifugation after agitation, after removing the T2 bacteriophage from the E. coli. These E. coli, the infected E. coli was taken for ultracentrifugation. So, what we know actually, the DNA which is heavy, the heaviness of DNA is high when compared to the protein. So, proteins are less in weight when compared to the DNA. So, what has happened here when they have taken for centrifugation or density centrifugation, you can able to find this lower region with the cells, or the upper region contains the supernatant. This is the supernatant. So, all these cells and DNA will settle at the bottom, and the proteins component, like protein components, they are not heavy when compared to cell. They stagnate on the upper surface as supernatant. So, when they just identify this, they can able to identify the radioactivity of sulfur only present on the supernatant. So, supernatant only has a radioactivity, that is sulfur. On the lower region where we found the DNA, it contains phosphorus 32. The radioactivity of the phosphorus was identified in the pellets. Okay, so this is what they have identified. So it is not the protein which is entered inside the organism, it is only the DNA which is entered inside the organism. So this was the experiment done by Hershey and Chase to prove the DNA only carries information from the parent to the offspring. They confirmed that, and based on this experiment there is a conclusion was given. DNA is only genetic material which transfers information from the parent to the offspring. I just summarize it again. So what they have done, they have taken two type of radioactive substances, one is sulfur 35, another one is phosphorus 32. They made this like T2 bacteriophage to be grown in separate medium which contain phosphorus 32 separately and sulfur 35 separately. If they have been grown here, eventually phosphorus have entered inside the DNA. So DNA eventually may absorb this phosphorus and the DNA is going to produce the radioactivity of the phosphorus. It is not any other component of the T2 bacteriophage. When it come here, sulfur 35, only the outer protein coat will absorb the sulfur because they only going to absorb sulfur. It is not any other component in the T2 bacteriophage. So we are clear with phosphorus is present in DNA and sulfur 35 is present on the protein coat. When they made this mixture to get infected, when the E. coli was infected by the virus, it is injected genetic material inside the E. coli, and the next step they separated this E. coli from the T2 bacteriophage. The infected cell was taken for centrifugation process, and the lower region which contains cells in DNA, they contain the activity of, or they contain the radioactivity of phosphorus, or they've shown the radioactivity of the phosphorus, and the upper region where you can able to find the supernatant which contains only the sulfur which shows only the radioactivity of the sulfur. So it shows that the DNA only carries information which is entered inside the organism. It is not the sulfur has entered inside the organism. Protein doesn't enter. Okay, it just clearly explains that DNA is only genetic material which carries information from the parent to the offspring. By the next video, we'll learn about Michelson and Stales experiment.